Brother Nashi, how are you? Please post my story as anonymous. My story happened when I was still working at Capitec. My name, you will call me Swu. I am a 51-year-old South African man, and I wish for you to keep me as anonymous, not even for you to share the name of the ghost account that I have used, because my story that I want to share with you, I do not even want people to know about it. So I am a man. I'll say that I was born and I was raised in Tembisa, and I'm 51 years old right now. For many years, I was working at Capitec Bank. I was working back office, dealing with accounts, freezes, verifications, things like that. If you see me today, you will see that I'm just like any normal guy. I'm not rich, but I am financially stable, a hard-working guy, always at work, and I have a small business. I have a car, and I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head. I have a new girlfriend whom has given me a child. She does not even know that this is what I did for her to live a good life. She and her mom, they are staying in a gated community, all rent paid by me, because I want my child to have their best life. But they do not even know that there were things that I did before I had met my current girlfriend. So everything that I have today, it is relying on a tokoloshi that I went and I collected in Zim, and I came back with it back to South Africa. My life used to be okay before everything went wrong. Gents, let us not play with gambling. You can even lose your marriage through gambling. You can even lose your house, like what happened when it was in the year 2017. I had spent so many years gambling, and I had taken a risky move. What I had done was that if I can gamble, even with money that I was supposed to pay for the bond of the house that we had, and I would gamble without telling my wife. So we used to pay our bond by the third of each and every month. But what I would do is that before we could have paid it, I would try to hustle so much money that I could get out of the money that I was supposed to put in an account so that it can be taken by the debit order. But one day I lost it all, and I put more money and I lost it. I had a bond on our house, me and my late wife, and then I started to gamble and I lost the money. When I lost the money, this meant that I was always behind on my debt. So I had a debt from another failed business that I started, because I had said that this business, I want it to be the one that is going to assist me in this gambling thing that I am doing. I am only going to be gambling using my own profit. And I also had another child that I had with a girlfriend. So I had to send money to that daughter of mine as well. She was everything to me. So with my wife and we had our daughter who had been accepted at the University of Joburg. She was doing her first year. She was a bright child, focused, and she used to tell me that one day she was going to build me a very big house. And I said, no, I must build it for you so that you can live a good life. I did not know that by messing up with the devil was going to destroy me. The devil was going to destroy my family. So the pressure started by 2018. Things got worse. Like, I had been gambling, and the bank started calling, say your account is in arrears every week, every day. I would wake up with swollen feet because of the stress, sleep with stress. At work, I could not even focus, because every time my phone rang, I thought that they are the debt collectors that are calling me. Maybe they are coming for the house. Losing a house, it is not just losing a building, it is losing your dignity, your respect. As for my wife's relatives, they hated me. They had no respect for me anymore, because they had been told by my wife that we had lost the money. The way that we had lost money was by me gambling. I had been gambling with the money that was supposed to pay for the bills. And when they would speak with me, when they would ask me what had happened, I would answer them somehow. Still, I believed, brother, that God was going to open up his doors and I was going to be able to repay back the money to the banks and life was going to return back to normal. But life was refusing to return back to normal. No matter how hard I tried to hustle, to gamble, I became desperate. Then one day, it was a regular day at work. It was a normal day, but something was going to change into my life. I was going to be initiated into Satanism. There was a guy who walked into the branch. He was a Zimbabwean man. So when I saw him, obviously you could tell by the way that he was dressed up, he was just scruffy, man, and he was just wearing clothes that were of mixed colors. I did not even think that this guy that I was looking at, he was someone that had a lot of money. So he came to my desk, afternoon boss. We spoke and he told me that he needed help with his account that had been frozen. I said, okay, let's see. I checked his details. Brother, when I saw the balance, my hands froze. I thought that maybe I was having problems with my eyesight. It was 1 million plus. I checked again, the same thing. I looked at the man and I looked back at the screen. These things, they were not matching. The confusion, this was like your normal armpit gang, but he had 1 million in his account. I asked him, how do you have this money, my friend? He smiled and he said that his God had provided for him. Simple, too simple. This was the beginning of our conversation. I helped him. I then investigated and I saw that his permit had expired. Turned out that his permit had expired, so the account had been frozen. So I advised him to get it renewed. He went and then he came back. I think it was after 3 months or so. It was at the end of that year when he returned. I quickly recognized him, even the person that I was assisting. I told that person that I wanted to assist that Zim guy before we could continue. So I called him to my desk because there were a lot of things that I wanted to hear from him. So he came to my desk. Then we started to talk. We were talking like we were old buddies because we had spoken once, and I saw him as someone that could assist me because I was afraid that the house was about to get taken by the bank because I was owing a number of months. So he told me that he had managed to renew his permit, everything was legit, but something still did not sit right with me. And then I said, man, tell me, how are you making this money? And he said that I should visit him at his shop so that I can understand. So later on, we then met. I went to his shop and I found out that this guy, he was a panel beater. When I went to his shop, oh, he was busy. And even though he was all scruffy, but he had so much money, but still it did not make sense. No panel beater has that kind of money just lying in your bank account in a foreign country. Then as we were talking, the more that we spoke, one day I asked him directly and I was like, my man, tell me, where does your money really come from? And I started to tell him about my financial problems. He then said that he had been assisted in his country. When he started working in South Africa, things were so hard for me, and he returned back to his country where he was assisted by a man who gave him good luck. And I was like, what do you mean? I asked him. He said, these are things that you South African can't understand. Then he said, Ukutwala. I had heard about these things, man, stories. I just said that there were rumors. But he told me that he had done such a thing. That is how he had managed to build a business that was giving him a lot of money. And I was like, man, tell me the truth. Those things, they are not real. I said. He just looked at me and he said, if you want, you can go with me when I go to Zim. So that was the beginning of our conversation of us making a trip going to his country. So me and this guy, we started to meet a lot. We would talk. And then he told me that he was going to his country and I was supposed to raise some money. So I agreed. I went to his country. I did not even have any passport or anything. By then, me and my ex-wife who passed away, we were no longer together because she had told me that she did not love me anymore. So then I agreed to go with this new found friend of mine, and then we went to Zim. When we arrived in Zim, everything was just normal because we just arrived not in the village. We were in the city where this Sangoma was staying, and this man that was going to assist me, he did not even seem like he was a Sangoma. He just looked like any normal man, but he was from Malawi, a man who had came to Zim and been staying there for a very long time. So I was then given a dish that was full of blood, and this was fresh blood, but it was not human blood. This was the blood, I was told, of a goat that had been sacrificed. And I was then told that in order for me to become rich, I was supposed to wash my hands with the blood of that goat. That will be me telling God that this is the path that I have decided to follow in my life. So after I had washed my hands with the blood, that was when we went into this other village. We drove from the city going to the village. And when we were in the village, then I was made to sleep at the graveyard. I slept at the graveyard on that night. Then the next day, I was given that same dish, but it had cow's blood now, and I was told to enter into this other room. This room, it was smelling urine. I can't even explain it. They made me to sit in that dark room whilst the healer was standing outside, but he was speaking with me. He was asking me a number of questions, and then he said to me, in order for me to give you good luck, you are supposed to lose something. It's either you lose one thing or you lose everything. So then I said, what is it that you want? And then that was when the Sangoma told me that he was going to speak with his Togoloshes. I waited maybe for about 30 minutes. When he came back, that was when the Sangoma told me that he had spoken with these Togoloshes, and these Togoloshes, they had said that they wanted first the blood of my daughter. Then after that, they wanted the blood of my ex-wife. I was shocked. For these Togoloshes, they even knew that I had another child with another girlfriend. And they said, how am I supposed to bring these people to Zim? Because my ex-wife and I, we are no longer talking together. She is never going to agree to do something like this. How is it even possible that I can tell her that I want to bring her to Zim? I was then given a clay pot. I just thought that it was something that was small. I did not even know that by putting, after I had written the name of my daughter first, the name of my ex-wife, and the name of my daughter whom I had with my girlfriend, this was going to have them killed. I just wrote and I dropped it in that clay pot and I gave it back to the traditional healer. All along, they were talking in Shona, so I could not understand. The only thing that I kept on hearing was Mari Mari, and I knew that it meant money. So my friend was the one that was translating most of the stuff to me. After I had performed that ritual, I returned back with my friend back to South Africa. The traditional healer had told me that I was supposed to start a business. In order for this money, like he had told me, to come to me, I was supposed to start a business, because if I did not start a business, then it was not going to make any sense. So me and my friend, then we returned to South Africa. When we returned back, and then I went to the graveyard. When I went to the graveyard, I had been told that the only thing that I was supposed to say when I was standing in the graveyard was to say yes and to call the name of these three people that I had left their names written and placed inside of that clay pot that I had left back in Zim. So I called out their names and said yes. Then that was when I started a small business. I only invested, it was 1,500 rands that I invested into that same business. But after my daughter had passed away, I started to make a lot of money. My daughter was buried. I was there. It was the most painful thing that I had ever experienced in my entire life. After my daughter had passed away, I moved on with my life. Since me and the mother, we had been divorced by then, and she started to get sick. I would visit her. Whenever I would visit her, she did not know that I was showing the topologies from Zim that this is the house where my wife is staying. She also passed away. I started to make a lot of money, but I would wake up sometimes. I would see the ghost of my daughter and the ghost of my ex-wife just standing looking at me. And at their funeral, I had been told that I was supposed to spend a lot of money, and this was what was going to make a lot of customers come to me and to spend a lot of money in my business. The way that opportunities came into my life, opportunities, they came out of nowhere. There would be someone that would offer me a business deal. I started with small business deals, but these deals, they became bigger and bigger. I made so much money. By then, I had already resigned from Capitec and I started to focus on my own business. Things worked out, but there is no peace for me. I have money now. I am not rich. I am stable, but I have no peace. At night, I can be chased by the spirit of my ex-wife, and when she chases me, she will be hitting me, and I can spend days locked up in my bedroom because I do not want people to see that my face, it is all swollen up. Sometimes I can hear the voice of my daughter even when I am driving. I think of him, I start to cry. The real punishment that I have right now is to live with the knowledge of knowing the things, the evil things that I did every day. I am confessing because the weight that is on my shoulders, it is just too much. If there is anyone that is listening, please, even if it means that you are struggling, it is better that you choose to struggle. If you are about to lose everything, maybe that thing did not belong to you. If you lose it, better that you lose it. You are going to come back much stronger. But don't ever take shortcuts in your life, because the price that you will pay, the price is not about money. The price is you not being able to see your daughter again, you sacrificing even people that you never meant to sacrifice simply because this is what the Togoloshes want. I regret. I wish that I had never done such a thing in my life. If I could return back to the past, I could go there and I would give my ex-wife a life back. I could give my daughter a life back so that she can live, because they also wanted to live the same way that I do not want to die. That is the same way that they also did not want to die, but I was forced. Rather, I wish that I could go back and choose not to gamble. Do not gamble, because you will end up destroying your own life. You might not do ukutwala like I did, but maybe you will end up doing bad things. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us speak with our brother in the comment section. If you have any spiritual encounters that you have witnessed in your life, do not hesitate to reach out to us and share with us your own side of the story.